How many people you think last night you helped or all day?
Oh gosh, I think we got at least 350, but probably more than that devotees just during sort of a final rush at the night. Um, it's a lot of people.
A lot of people. And how do they arrange their payment?
But my understanding is that the majority of them now don't pay any money to the devotees until after they arrive at the safe house. It's bad in some ways because then they're held basically hostage until the money comes in. But it's better in that if they get deported, they haven't lost everything. They can keep trying.
What about if
So
what about if they cannot pay the money?
if they can't pay the money, they're in a lot of trouble.
Are they even sent back by the coyotes?
No, generally they're shot,
Or they get killed?
usually. And we see stories about that in Phoenix sometimes. People found, Mexican nationals found dead in the desert just outside of Phoenix, or situations like that.
And after they arrange us, so if they get picked up by the immigration before they get to the safe house, what happens?
They just get deported and try again. In that case, they haven't lost their money. This is why a lot of them don't seem too depressed. Some of them are still in good spirits, as long as they still know where their family is and they haven't been separated from their group. They just keep trying. I really, they'll try 10 times if they have to. They'll do whatever it takes. I really respect the kind of determination. There's people who are willing to just do anything it takes to build a better life. They don't care if they have to walk across the desert 10 times. I mean, not a lot of people would be willing to take those kinds of risks and make that kind of effort to try and create something better. It's the kind of people I want in my country. I don't want a country full of people who just say, oh well, things are bad, what can you do, and just sit on their hands. I want a whole country full of people who say, I don't care what it takes, I'm going to create something better. I'm going to, people who are determined and brave and strong, and you're going to say, let's go and build something good. These are the people I want to invite in. But, I guess.
How do you feel when you see kids trying to do the same thing?
God, I worry about them so much with the kids. It's like, I found kids way out in the desert when I was working in Iraq. Not alone, they're with somebody, but they're way out there. And we found skeletons in the deserts with the epiphyseal plates still unsealed. When kids are still growing, there's a part of the bone, certain bones, the long bones, that has cartilage instead of bone because they're growing so fast and bone doesn't grow well. When you stop growing, the bone seals in. And we found skeletons out in the desert without epiphyseal plates sealed. I know someone who did. And we see all the time footprints of groups with children in the groups, and sometimes we actually find children. And I just worry about them. I actually worry more about the medium-sized children. I think the babies, the parents can carry them and maybe keep them safe. But when I see children who are 5 or 6, they're too small to walk that far by themselves. And if the parents have to carry them, it's too heavy to carry someone like that all the way over the mountains and as far as they have to walk. And so I really worry about that situation. I don't think there's any safe way to do that.
So basically, the mothers who carry those children or are with those children there get behind on the trail while they're walking?
That's my concern, is that they would fall behind from the group, and the group isn't going to wait for you in most instances. If you fall behind, you get left behind.
So the coyotes' attitude is, if they're behind, they just leave them right there, right?
Usually.
And that's how they get lost in the desert.
Usually.
So.
And remember, most of these people aren't from Sonora or Chihuahua. They're from, Oaxaca or Chiapas, or Oaxaca or Chiapas or Veracruz. So they're from, forest area. They don't know anything about the desert. They don't understand the desert. They don't know what to do. So if they fall behind, they're in a lot of trouble.
There are a lot of rattlesnakes too to worry about on those trails.
There are some. There are some rattlesnakes. There are some scorpions. But the reality is the biggest danger isn't the animals. It's just the dehydration. It's blisters. It's running out of water. Is how most people die. It's not from snakes.
So when they get blisters, and what happens is if they survive the night or that day, and they send back, and they'll try again all when they're sick. So that's how they die too, or
Yeah, they fingerprint people when they find them, when they deport them. And what they found is that a lot of the dead bodies they found in the desert that are still intact enough to be fingerprinted are people who have already been deported once or twice in the recent past. And so, you know, they've already tried once, they've already been deported, now they've already got blisters, they're already dehydrated, they've already used up a lot of their money, so now they don't have enough money to buy more food. And what we found is that this is when people are most likely to die in the desert is on their second and third trials. So that's what landed us here, is we thought maybe if we could, you know, give people decent treatment for the blisters and a fresh pair of socks and make sure they were properly hydrated before they try again, maybe their chances of, maybe we won't be so likely to be pulling them out of a wash in the desert south of Arivaca.
have you cured any children from blisters?
Yeah, I've seen some children with blisters, but more often, since children are light, they don't get blisters as often, but they wind up with a lot of other sicknesses. We found a lot of children with fever and diarrhea. We found a lot of kids with other stuff.